Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us. I'm Joke Rogers here in Lagos. We begin in the UK, where President Bola Tinubu and the First Lady Oluremi are paying a state visit. Hours ago, they both met with King Charles III and Queen Camilla, as well as other senior members of the royal family. This is the first state visit by any Nigerian president in the UK to the UK in 37 years.
Britain rolled out the markings of a state visit to welcome President Bola Tinubu and the First Lady Oluremi Tinubu at Windsor Castle on Wednesday. The president's car arrived in front of the castle, where he and the First Lady were greeted by the Prince and Princess of Wales and other senior members of the royal family. It is the first Nigerian state visit to the UK for 37 years, the last being head of state General Ibrahim Babangida in 1989. Other state visits have occurred in 1973 with General Yakubu Gowon and Shehu Shagari in 1981. Unlike other state visits of heads of state, lunch has not been scheduled between the two leaders as President Tinubu is observing the Ramadan fast. A carriage procession brought the king and the president into the Windsor Castle quadrangle, where they were met by a guard of honor and the band of the Grenadier Guards, which played the Nigerian and British national anthems as they travelled round the square. President Tinubu then ceremonially inspected the troops on display, with King Charles walking a few steps behind. After which they both retired, walking hand in hand into the castle to continue with other aspects of the state visit. State visits are a way of building relationships between international partners. President Tinubu's visit will see a strengthening of economic ties and more cultural and diplomatic partnerships. Amarachi Ubani, Channel Television News.
Meanwhile, the senior special assistant to the president on foreign affairs and protocol, Ademola Ashodi, says Nigeria is intentionally repositioning itself on the global stage through strategic diplomacy and stronger international partnerships. Speaking on Channels Television Sunrise Daily, Mr. Ashodi said the federal government is working to ensure that Nigeria is not only visible but also relevant in global decision-making spaces. He notes that recent engagements with major global economies and multilateral bodies are part of a broader effort to project Nigeria as a stable and attractive partner for trade, investment, and security cooperation.
Answer is the fact that it is the reforms of the president of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He has opened up the Nigerian economy. He has showed that Nigeria is serious, and it has also asked for international assistance from major global players like the United Kingdom. Nigeria is basically on path to be a $1 trillion economy in the next few years. And the president has ensured that we put things in place, whether it's facilities we get or assistance regarding security, or even ensuring that we're on a global stage in the BRICS or G20 and having a seat in the United Nations. It's important that Nigeria projects itself positively abroad after taking care of its own economic and security challenges at home. Now, the United Kingdom has seen the fact that Nigeria is not a country we take for granted, even regardless of our historical ties with them. Nigeria has made friends with all the major players: China, India, Brazil. I mean, we have this ongoing direct flight between Brazil and Nigeria, and nothing has happened like that in West Africa. Nigeria has close affinities and relationship with France. France is not usually our traditional ally. We work with France in security in West Africa, a key part of our security issues. So Britain has seen the fact that they've left the European Union. They're no longer part of the European Union. Brexit has had tremendous effect on the economy. They need to have new markets. They see Nigeria's budding economy as a path towards their own prosperity. The British economy, I think, recorded its zero GDP rate just a few days ago. They're struggling with high taxes and other issues. Nigeria is the new India.
Before his arrival at Windsor Castle, Director of the UK Metropolitan Police, Nsikan Etuk, spoke about the significance of the Nigerian president's visit to the United Kingdom. And on the sidelines of the president's visits to the UK, our London Bureau Chief, Juliana Olayinka, also spoke to the director of the Seyi Law, who is also excited about this landmark visit, which took a lot of hard work and planning to achieve the results.
This event has been a long time in the planning. There's been a lot of work being done in order to make it the success it was today. You've seen some amazing moments. It's been a momentous moment for the community, the Nigerian people, our Nigerian community, the diaspora over here, our families back home, and it's been a momentous for the UK as well. We've spent a considerable amount of time working alongside the community in order to make sure that we got things right. And I'm just, as a Nigerian, that's a proud moment for me to be here to celebrate this moment. It's 37 years in the making.
It's something good to be a part of this historic visit after 37 years. You know, it means that in the Committee of Nations that belongs to the Commonwealth, Nigeria is regaining its rightful position as one of the giants. It felt more than spiritual. It's renewed a sense of Nigeria's greatness. First, the moment the carriage was coming, and the moment Mr. President and King Charles' carriage walked into the platform, the national anthem of Nigeria went off immediately. And, there was this great sense of belonging that we are here as a great nation. The moment I heard the sound, Nigeria, we hail thee, and then I saw Mr. President beaming with smile and waving to Nigerians and people of other nations who have come to welcome him. That gave me so much joy. I'm very proud. In fact, there is only a Yoruba word, statement that can quantify what I'm feeling right now. And that word is, in Yoruba, it says, Toba Geshinumi Oni Kose. It means if you ride a horse inside of me, your horse will not stumble.
Well, we're not quite done with the president's state visit to the United Kingdom. Let's get more perspective on the president's state visit. Joining me now on the program is lawyer and political analyst Dele Ogun. He joins me from London. Dele, it's good to see you today.
Joke, good to see you as well.
Well, I'm not sure I saw you as one of those welcoming the presidents to the United Kingdom.
I wonder why. I wonder why. It's always the one with the bad news who's going to tell it as it is.
Well, so how significant is this visit happening 37 years since the last state visit by a Nigerian president?
Well, let's start here. That venue was significant, Windsor Castle. Because Nigerians don't know history, they don't know the history of their country. Windsor Castle is where the amalgamation edict was signed by King George V in August 1913. The amalgamation of largely Christian South and predominantly Muslim North, which is manifesting in much of the tragedy, deaths that we're hearing about. So all I could see when I was seeing Windsor Castle, I was saying, this is where the dirty deed was done. But then let's move forward to this particular visit. Let me try and, I scratch my head and say, what can Nigerians be happy about, hopeful about? You then have to rewind to the last state visit. That was Babangida. And that was it 1987? 1989.
1989, yeah.
Okay, so what happened afterwards? So we can have an idea as to what we can look forward to. What happened afterwards? What did Babangida go and do? He threw us into political crisis. You remember? June 12th election, abortion of the, the mandate, and the crisis that stemmed from there. Now, we are in the middle of a continuation of that crisis because the constitutional settlements that we were supposed to have arrived at to make sure that we don't come to those crossroads again has eluded us. And this, our president visiting, former member of NADECO, campaigning all that time for proper constitutional settlement. We're still in that crisis. We have a document that now everybody, probably even him will agree, was a fraudulent instrument, the 1999 document, We the People and all the rest of that. And what the country is crying out for is a proper constitutional settlement between all the ethnic groups so peace and prosperity can reign. So if the Babangida wants anything to any precedent, for us to draw a deduction from and to project forward, I fear that there's nothing much for our people, at least those of us looking for a final settlement of all these troubles. This legacy since Windsor Castle, that venue, since they signed the amalgamation edict over our heads. So we have a 1999 constitution that was imposed on us over our heads, and it traces back to the King George V signing of the amalgamation order, again, over our heads, not something we asked for. So I struggle because politics is the foundation of all economics, at least sustainable development, because that requires peace and security. And if the foundation is suspended, is rotten, is collapsing, what economic paradigm are you going to build on it? It can only be the ones who will be joyous and celebrating this exercise are your pirates of business, you know, the short-termists. Who's going to do long-term investment when you can't see the next even 10 years clearly? Yeah, so the kind of investment that's going to come out of this are the ones who really don't care whether their house is on fire. They just want to make their money, snatch it, grab it, and run with it. And we know where that came from.
Well, be that as it may, you know, a lot of people have high expectations from this, that this visit will unlock a lot of things, you know, whatever the case, because it's been a long time coming, you know, deeper diplomatic relations. People expect jobs to be unlocked, you know, a lot of investments to be made, both public investments with the government and also people in the private sector as well. Is that not a good thing?
Well, you know, Daniel Bwala is not the only Nigerian who cannot face facts and reality. There's a syndrome that I've coined, Daniel Bwalaism. When we're in denial of the reality that presents itself. You know, the reality is that the country is on political fire. You hear bombs going off in Maiduguri, you hear killings in Katsina, in Bonu, etc. You know, the house is on fire. That means you've got to put the fire out, and you've got to do the first things first. And the first thing, even for investors, is security. People need to be able to, investors need to be able to see the next 10 years, the next 20 years, and the next 30. And fundamentally, serious investors, if we're going to be creating real jobs, what they look for is the power situation, power supply. You know, we have a crisis. This crisis has been with us since the last state visit. So is this state visit really going to produce the solution? What will happen? Contracts, yes, will be signed. Those who are sitting around the dining table, the massive entourage that the president traveled with, contracts will be signed. And there will be winners, no doubt about it. But the problem and the tragedy of Nigeria is that the winners are always very few, and the losers are the vast majority. And what will this state visit produce when they're supposed to be at home, putting the fundamentals in place? We shouldn't be speaking about the fundamentals of power supply in 2026. You really need to look at the timeline. We shouldn't be speaking about that, but we are, because people are doing the easy stuff. The easy stuff is to be traveling and gallivanting abroad, and state receptions, chauffeur-driven cars, high-level dinners. The hard stuff of governance is identifying your country's priorities. And our priorities right now, security and power supply. And this is not a party political point. I am not
Right.
sympathetic to any of those parties.
Like, maybe there's something spiritual about this visit. The First Lady is expected to preach at Lambeth House tomorrow. I mean, come on.
Joke, you're really stirring me up here.
Come on, this is something good.
You know that the record of our men of God, men and women of God. God ain't listening to those ones. God is not speaking to them. So whatever they say, you just sideline them, because Nigerians would not be suffering as they are if these people really had the ear of God, and if God was lending an ear to them.
Thanks. Thank you so much. I really must let you go. Thank you so much for your time on the program. Elsewhere, the Republic of Congo's President Denis Sassou Nguesso has been re-elected for a 5th term. According to results announced today, officials say Mr. Nguesso won 94.8% of the vote, with turnout at 84.6%. 6 other candidates contested the election, but many voters in the capital, Brazzaville, skipped polling, saying they did not expect a change in leadership. Mr. Nguesso, who first came to power in 1979 and returned after the Civil War in 1997, is now the third longest-serving African leader. His re-election follows a 2015 constitutional change that removed age and term limits. Let's take you to other stories now. The United Nations mission in South Sudan has stepped up patrols at Makpandu refugee camp in Yambio following a deadly attack that killed Sudanese refugee. Thousands who fled the conflict in Sudan now face renewed insecurity, with reports of armed groups entering the camp, firing weapons and looting property. Refugees say they fear has disrupted daily life, forcing families to sleep in the bush and keeping children out of school.
Especially following the most recent attack that took place last week, as our role to restore confidence, to engage directly with the communities and even the local authorities. It was also an opportunity for us to interact with different sources, the SSPDF, the police, the women, the refugees, and everybody. Even though they are expressing their anxiety and fear about the situation, they still need us as UNMISS to increase our footprint, our patrol, and to continue engage with them closely, such that they are able to restore their confidence and resume life again.
The remains of 22-year-old Nigerian e-hailing driver Isaac Satlat, who was murdered in Pretoria, South Africa in February, has been repatriated to Nigeria. Satlat, who was allegedly strangled and killed by passengers who had requested a ride. Several suspects, including 2 women, are now facing charges of premeditated murder and robbery. Nigeria's ambassador to South Africa, Alexander Ajayi, has expressed gratitude to the country's judicial system and civil society for their support in the case.
It's a very, very sad event, particularly the unfortunate killing of a young Nigerian here. We are very saddened about it, and in the embassy, it really hits us very deeply. We share in the grief of the community and the grief of the family, and we've also have engaged severally with the high officials of the South African government, and in order to see that justice is done, and to also ensure that the perpetrators of this heinous act are brought to book. And we are happy with the judicial process that is going on, and want to also see it to the end. And I want to use this opportunity to thank the members of civil society who came out in large number to express, to connect, to identify with the families, and to also express their displeasure and their anger over that development. And I want to say that also thank the member of Uber community who identified very well with the victims, and also rose in solidarity with the young boy that was untimely killed in that incident. And right now, on the part of the mission, we've tried to ensure that we facilitate the repatriation of the body back to Nigeria, also connect very much with the family. We are also applying a kind of psychosocial support to the families, the fathers, as well as everybody connected with the young boy. So my ultimate remarks on this is to ensure that because this has been one of the extrajudicial killing we have seen in South Africa, particularly concerning some Nigerians. And I'm happy that the South African government has taken it very, very seriously, and going by the engagement I've been having with them. And I'm also happy that in these particular instances, both the one that happened earlier in Johannesburg and the other one, the Isaac Sattler that happened in Pretoria.
And as we end the program today, here's a fun fact about the continent. Our focus is on Morocco, where you have the world's oldest university, the world's largest film studio, and the first African nation to reach the FIFA World Cup semi-finals. Morocco also has Africa's highest ski resort, located in the Atlas Mountains, with slopes reaching up to 10,500 feet. And that's Network Africa. Thank you for watching. I'm Joka Rogers.